Hello, welcome to this week's video, and this week's video is going to be about this, the Nikon Z8. After 6 months of using it as a landscape photographer, would I buy it again? Let's find out. And I thought I'd do the review mostly out in the field, so I'm at a lovely place called Flatford in Suffolk where I've been shooting some pictures. I've been on YouTube for about 3 years, and in that time I've had several cameras. I've taken a little bit of time to settle on my proper format, but I started off with an XT2, an XT4, a GFX 50R, which are all Fuji. I went from CSC to medium format, and then I swapped to this, which is the Nikon Z7ii, and I love this camera. It's a brilliant camera. As you can see, I've still got it, but the reason I changed to a Z8 is because I was looking for a backup camera. I went off to Lofoten in February last year, and I didn't want to go without a backup camera. I have also got a Z30, but it's not a full frame sensor. I didn't take that with me, as it turned out. I wanted a real good backup for the Z7 II. I looked at the Olympus system. I've had the OM system, IM1 Mark II on loan with a load of lenses, which is really kind of Olympus, and there's some videos on my channel about that adventure. And I actually really enjoyed that system, but for me personally, I wanted a little bit more in the files than I was getting out of the Micro Four Thirds system, and the files out of here I've hardly ever needed with this camera to bracket, even in really bright conditions. The dynamic range of this is fantastic. So I kind of had a little look around and decided that in the end I was going to buy a Z8, and the reason for that is I don't just do landscapes. I do mostly, that's mostly my bread and butter stuff that I do, and I like doing the most, hence Lofoten. But I have also been getting into, just occasionally, wildlife photography. I'd like to do some sports photography, and for that you need good focusing, or good auto focusing. And I found with the Z7 II, the autofocus wasn't quite good enough. Also with the Z7 II, and I've done a review on this after 6 months, I don't like the fact that we've got this screen here, which is great if you're working on a tripod or low down to the ground. You can flick the screen up, but you can't flick it this way. So if you've got the camera like that, that's a little bit hard to use. The Z8 cures that problem. So let me talk to you about some of the features that I really like on this camera. Okay, so one of the first features about this camera, you can actually see here, this is this sensor shield. So when you can program it so when you turn the camera off, the sensor shield will cover the sensor. That's not the shutter, by the way. People think the shutter closes over it, but actually, including me for a while, but actually it hasn't got a shutter in it. So it's just a sensor shield, and what that does is obviously stops any dust or dirt or specks of dust getting onto the sensor, meaning you have got to clean it all the time. Oh, it's a dog. And what you can do is you can, in the settings, you can adjust, and this has got so many settings that you can change, but you can change it so that when you turn the camera off, that sensor shield automatically closes, which means that in the field when you're changing lenses, it doesn't get any dust on it that you have to then clone out or clean your sensor all the time. And I work in conditions where it's often blowy, rainy, snowy, and that to me is really important. Fair to say this, it's quite a big camera. It's not as big as the Z9. The Z9 has another power bank underneath here, which looks like an old motor drive. With the Z9, it needs a lot more power to keep going a lot longer. The batteries on this do run out, or they feel like they run out a lot quicker than the Z7ii. The Z7ii I never used to charge between shoots. Every other shoot I'd probably charge it. This one I charge it pretty much every time. I have got 3 or 4 extra batteries though just for it, so that's actually fine. It's in your hand. I've got fairly small hands, but you can see that it's quite a grip, it's quite weighty, it's quite bulky, but I don't feel that's a problem. I really like my cameras to be a proper camera you can get your hands around and really get hold of, and that grip is amazing. If you handhold this really easily, it's really lovely. The buttons are all laid out really well. I love these switches here, or these little rockers at the front, at the back. I've got one set for aperture, one set for shutter speed. I use manual all the time with landscapes, and I can quickly turn this and have a look on the screen, which I'll show you in a second. I'll get all of my settings right. On and off buttons there, just by the finger. If you pull it further, everything lights up as well, so you can see all the dials in the dark. I love the fact that on here we've got a wonderful little button which is for the video, doing videos, a little bit of footage for the channel. I can flick a switch on the back here. I can feel where that is because you can see it's sitting a little bit proud, so that's really good. I've also got a compensation button here, or ISO button, which I can quickly use to change the ISO. So that part of the camera well set out. Let me just talk to you about the top though, because there are bits I'm not quite so happy with. So we've got on top this interesting LED screen here. When we turn it on, you'll see that that comes alive, and it's got a lot of information on here, but there's not an awful lot more information on there than there is on the back of the screen, and I very rarely use that because I'm using the back of the screen, so I find it really kind of confusing as to why that's there. I would much rather see a dial there with some custom modes built on it, because that is so much more useful for a photographer who's doing general photography. So this is set up for landscape. It's not really a big problem for me, but if you were doing landscapes, handheld shots, wildlife, macro, it's really nice to have a custom button that you can literally just turn really quickly, and it's there. The Olympus system's got it on. A lot of systems have got it on actually. In fact, some of the Nikon cameras have got it on, but this has got this screen, and I really don't see the point. One thing I do like though is this screen is amazing. So it's really big. The information that you can change on here is amazing. So I think I've got 4 different screens which I can just scroll through. So I've got it set so it's completely off, so I can work on the composition. That one's got all of the different settings, which again, the same at the top, exposure, etc., which you can see is miles out, but that's just so you can see the picture. And this one is the one I use the most. So we have a histogram and we have a spirit level. So I tend to get things level with the spirit level, make sure the histogram is looking right, and then I'll press it again, and there we go, we've got it. Just looking at the composition. Other than that, this button here, this little I button, which is the same on all of the Z cameras that I've used, is really good, very customizable. So this customizable I button is brilliant. You can make, it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12 different settings on here, which you can simply touch if you want to. So I can change from single focus, autofocus to manual focus. If I want to, I can change, I quite often do, change the delay time. And you can set these to whatever you like. Now, you'll notice that I've got shoot A, shoot B says stars, shoot C says handheld, and shoot D says birds. So I've got that set up as 4 different customs. So what I can do if I'm shooting birds, let me just show you the process. So we'll turn that off. So I can at the moment go I, shoot A, shoot D, OK, custom A, and custom D is also for action, OK, and that is now set for birds. I would much rather we took this screen off here and had a little dial that turned into custom 1. So much quicker. So I know because I've seen Thomas Heaton do it, that you can actually program one of the function buttons at the front, or indeed this function free button here. They're all customizable. You can set one of the buttons so that you can press it and it goes straight to that setting. It was so much easier just to have it on the top here. I don't see the point really of that little screen there. Apart from that, this screen does this as well. So we've got the screen that does that. So you can see that we can make that adjustable. If I'm using it on the tripod really high up, I can turn it downwards like that. But I can also, with this one, do that. So I can look from here. So if I'm shooting portrait, I've got so many options. That articulated screen is fantastic. It doesn't come right around the front, so I can't really use it to look at myself when I'm videoing. But other than that, that's absolutely fine. I love this this button here, so I can punch right in to check focus, punch back out again. That's really, really good. The playback button's in the right place. The menu button for me is in the right place. And the Olympus system's got a lovely, when you press the OK button here, it brings up a whole screen full of things which are really, really good. And what's great about this is it's incredibly customizable. There are so many things that you can change. We've got time lapses, auto bracketing, interval shooting. It will do the same thing for video. These custom banks, there are so many different things that you can change. I'm not going to go into them now because there are just too many, but if you were to look at the manual, you'll see that this is a brilliantly adjustable camera, which actually is almost sometimes its downfall. It's too complicated. But if you take a little bit of time, when you first get the camera, just go through and change the settings, save them to your custom bank and your shooting bank for whatever you do mainly, then that's pretty much set up. So that's really, really good. I just wish it was easier to get to the other functions. So in conclusion, would I buy it again? Absolutely would. Lenses I've got for Nikon Z system are brilliant. The files out of that are absolutely amazing. I have shot 9-stop brackets with it, thinking I'm going to need to make an HDR image, and I've just used the one. The sensor in that, and indeed in this, are very similar. That's just backlit, but the sensors are essentially the same. And the Nikon files that come out of these cameras are amazing. If you shoot purely landscapes, or you've got another system like I have, because I've got an Olympus system which I use for macro, if you have another system that you're happy with and you just want something for landscapes, I would probably look at this. The only thing about this I don't like is the flippy screen. You can't adjust it for portrait if you're shooting down like that. But if that's not a problem for you, this is going to save you about £1,300. This is about £2,500, and the body of that is about 3,800 at the moment. There are deals often made on both cameras, and there is obviously a second-hand market which you may want to explore. This was second-hand, that was new. So many things on here I don't use. But as a general camera, if you end up doing landscapes and, like me, a bit of wildlife and a bit of sports photography, and basically that will do anything that you throw at it. It's a brilliant workhorse, solid as you like. Never ever let me down. Purely landscapes, probably still that because of the screen and the customizability of it, but that won't let you down either. So I hope you've enjoyed that little walk through the Z8 after 6 months. Going to keep it, going to be seeing it on the channel a lot. Off to Lofoten again next year, booked another trip with Gary and Martin from Thumbs Up Photography, and if you've not seen that channel, I'll put a link down below, but go and check us out on Facebook. We've also got a YouTube channel and an exhibition, and we do lots of competitions and things. So if you like photography, come and check us out on Facebook and get involved with the group. And until next week, who knows where I'll be, but I will see you next week, Sunday at 6. If you haven't subscribed, think about doing so, and click the notification bell to find out when my videos are up. It's a big back channel of videos. If you haven't seen them, go and have some fun looking at them. So thanks for watching, appreciate it very much. Take care of yourselves. Ta-da.